I let you go on, hoping that as you went on, you would start being. I then gave you the direct opportunity to just be honest, and you none of those did you take.
This case opens with Judge Simpson already in disbelief, and that tells you everything you need to know about where this hearing is headed. Right from the jump, he makes it clear that he gave Casey Atkins every possible chance to step forward with honesty, but she didn't take a single one. And in Judge Simpson's courtroom, nothing irritates him more than someone who wastes the court's time while pretending they're being transparent. In today's case, you'll see a defendant who finds herself tangled in misunderstandings, excuses, health complications, and a pattern of missed drug tests that the judge simply can't ignore. But here's the twist. Casey isn't just another defendant. She's a single mother, dealing with medical issues, job instability, and the crushing pressure of being the only provider for her daughter. As the hearing unfolds, you'll watch Judge Simpson try, repeatedly, to pull the truth out of her while her attorney scrambles to frame this as a series of unfortunate miscommunications rather than intentional violations. This case is the perfect storm of legal obligations clashing with real-life struggles, and the stakes couldn't be higher. A revoked bond doesn't just mean jail time, it means her daughter risks entering foster care. So buckle in. What starts as a simple bond violation hearing escalates into a tense, emotional unraveling that exposes what happens when honesty slips, consequences pile up, and a judge decides he's had enough.
Court does call the cases of the people versus Casey Atkins.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm Shalani for the people. And good afternoon, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Tanazi Carey on behalf of Ms. Casey Atkins, who is approaching. Ms. Atkins, say your name.
Casey Atkins.
All right, what are we doing?
Your Honor, today was date time set for preliminary examinations involved. I'm sure the court recalls these are adjourned hearings. The defendant was being screened for mental health court in the 15th District Court. Unfortunately, she has been denied entry into that court. Ms. Kiriakin really wishes to explore 14B recovery court from her client, or on the alternative, proceed with exam. I did tell Ms. Kiriakin that I would need to talk to the victim in the assault matter about the 14B recovery court, so we could agree to screen for that. And otherwise, I do believe there's bond violation.
Okay, you're going to get to that eventually. Okay, bond violation.
That is correct, Your Honor. We were indicated that there's a bond violation currently. Ms. Atkins, I asked her what it is that happened. She states, Judge, that she was under the impression that she had been accepted into the mental health court because that had been the conversations that she had been having with counsel previously. She was waiting to hear from them and be given the new reporting schedule.
Excuse me?
Your Honor, she did test today. As soon as she came in, she did go and test today. She's been
okay, but the previous mistest, I heard what you just said, but I'm not sure on what planet that makes any sense.
I understand.
This line is classic Judge Simpson and a warning shot across the bow. He doesn't raise his voice, he uses precision. When he says, on what planet that makes any sense, he's signaling that the explanation he just heard wasn't simply weak, it was illogical. Judges hear excuses every day, but the fastest way to lose credibility is to offer a story that contradicts itself or defies common sense. Here, Casey's attorney tried to frame the missed test as a misunderstanding about mental health court acceptance. But Judge Simpson's reaction shows he's already viewing this as selective compliance, showing up when it benefits her, making assumptions when it's convenient, and failing to act when responsibility is required. This moment also invites the question, was this truly confusion, or was Casey trying to buy herself time because she knew her tests wouldn't come back clean? This line shifts the entire courtroom atmosphere. It's no longer about exploring possibilities, it's about establishing accountability. And for the viewers, this is where you start seeing the judge push harder, asking sharper questions, and dissecting every inconsistency.
But I'll let you go on.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think the court is aware that Ms. Atkins has a significant host of health issues. She currently has congenital heart failure. She also has been dealing with a lot of medical appointments. She's the sole provider for her 13-year-old daughter. She states that she just completely misunderstood where she was in the process.
Misunderstood what part?
You want me to say?
She would like to address the court, Your Honor.
Sure,
Yeah.
have at it.
Yes, Your Honor. When I met with the mental health court, I was under the assumption that's who I was under now. And when I spoke with CMH Tia, she stated that I would be having to go once a week. I was awaiting that. I completely take full responsibility. It was my misunderstanding of my duty to show up weekly and call. And that is, I am extremely sorry. I have started a new job. I started July.
This is one of the most critical exchanges in the entire hearing. Casey finally acknowledges responsibility, not for wrongdoing, but for misunderstanding. Judges are very familiar with this approach, accepting blame without admitting intent. From her perspective, she's trying to show remorse, emphasize confusion, and signal that she wasn't deliberately avoiding compliance. But the problem is the timeline. She missed multiple tests. She went weeks without checking in. She started a new job, yet didn't alert probation. None of that fits into a simple misunderstanding. This is where Judge Simpson and many viewers start recognizing a pattern. When a defendant only speaks up about confusion after consequences hit, it often means the issue wasn't confusion but avoidance. Notice how she quickly shifts to personal hardship, new job, daughter, medical struggles. These are real pressures, but legally, they can't erase testing requirements. If anything, they underline why compliance matters even more.
I had one test in June,
Yes, and then for 3
no
weeks.
test in July,
3 weeks ago.
and haven't had a test yet in August, except that you say she went over. She has missed all of her testing.
There was.
So at what point did she think all of this changed?
When I came to the last hearing is when I thought it changed. Prior to that, I had,
When was the last hearing? When you came to the last hearing, that's where you thought it changed, right?
when I went in and actually met with Mr.
Grappling.
Crab, yeah, the mental health. I was also had back surgery, so there may be some myths due to my back surgery. I'm not quite for sure what date. I also had provided proof of COVID. That was back, I want to say maybe back in May. When he called me on Friday, he told me that I was 7 weeks out. I asked him if I could come in that day. He stated yes. Like I said, I just started a new job. I got up at 4:15, tried calling to see if I could come
You
in.
got a lot of excuses.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, you're right. It's
I know,
my
I'm right.
misunderstanding.
And the last test, do you have a prescription for opiates?
I wasn't on my last, on my last one, I did yes, and they should have all those records for my medical records, from the surgery. Yes, sir. Because I had surgery on June 10th. I haven't been on any medication in quite.
June 10th?
Yeah, I believe it was June.
Then, and you were given.
Oh, maybe it was May 10th.
When was your surgery?
Maybe it was May 10th. Maybe
I'm trying to think.
10th.
Sir,
Mr. Allen.
I'm sorry, I'm really nervous. I'm trying.
Yeah, and you should be.
Um,
When was your surgery?
I want to say it was June 10th. June 10th is,
Then why does an opiate show up in May?
because I was on medications prior to the surgery. I was under I was having sciatic nerve pain, so I was seeing a doctor prior to the surgery.
Your Honor,
So if it shows up on the 17th, if you have surgery on the 10th, why on your test on May 23rd doesn't it show up?
I may have been taken off. I don't know, sir. I honestly, I cannot answer that. I didn't know I was positive on those. I do know that I was on medication for quite some time prior to the surgery. I don't like to be on the medication. I was doing okay. My sciatic nerve, it was like a hit or miss on some of those until it like the last 3 weeks prior to my surgery, 2 weeks prior to my surgery is when it got really bad. I was unable to walk or do anything.
This section digs straight into the heart of the case. Drug test inconsistencies. When a defendant claims not to know why a substance was present or absent in their test results, judges immediately become skeptical. The science behind drug screening is precise. If someone is prescribed opiates, there should be a pattern in the results, levels rising, tapering, or at least appearing consistently. But here, the judge points out something glaring. The defendant tested positive for opiates before her claimed surgery, and then suddenly tested negative when logic suggests she should still have medication in her system. That inconsistency isn't a small detail. It's a red flag for manipulation. Casey tries to explain it away with medical issues, pain levels, surgical dates, and shifting prescriptions. But none of it answers the judge's core question. Why does the science contradict her story? This is where many defendants crumble, not because they're lying outright, but because they underestimate how closely judges examine timelines. A single date mismatch can unravel an entire narrative. For viewers, this moment shows how critical accuracy is in court. Judges don't rely on emotion. They rely on evidence and chronology.
But it was never my intention to upset or disappoint my children, the courts, myself. I am really trying to get off public assistance. I just recently got off. Like I said, I just started a new job July 24th. Just went in for another job at Trinity that I did all my physical and drug testing yesterday, and I'm supposed to start that. I am the sole provider for my 13-year-old. We have no other family members whatsoever. If something is to happen to me, she would literally have to be in foster care because there is no one. My 19-year-old cannot financially support her, and we will lose everything. And I just would really like a second chance, Your Honor.
Judge, can we approach, please?
Ms. Lundy, there was something you wanted to say?
Oh, not me.
Your Honor, I know the court was talking about the opiates. I was able to confirm with community corrections just a moment ago too, on May the 3rd, there's a test, and the COCN is an abbreviation for cocaine.
I know.
I wasn't sure if the court had seen that abbreviation. It's the first time I've seen it on one of these reports. So I wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
Yeah, on May 3rd, she's tested
I don't.
cocaine. Then next thing I know, so she's got benzos and she's got THC and cocaine in her system May 3rd. May 6th, she misses her test. May 15th, she misses her test. When she finally shows up on May 17th, I have the benzos still in, THC, and now she's got an opiate. She's trying to tell me that it's because of her impending surgery, which is coming up in June. However, her next test on May 17th, she comes up on May 23rd, it's negative. Nothing showed.
This is the part of the hearing that completely shifts the judge's tone. Up until now, there was still space, however small, for the possibility of misunderstanding. But when the prosecutor presents the drug test history, that window slams shut. The list is long and damaging. Cocaine, benzodiazepines, THC, opiates. Multiple missed tests, inconsistent results. Negative tests appearing exactly when the defendant claims she should have been medicated. From a legal standpoint, this pattern is much more significant than any one positive test. Courts look for trends, especially in bond compliance cases, and here the trend isn't subtle: substance use, avoidance, and selective reporting. This is also where Judge Simpson becomes visibly frustrated. He's hearing a narrative of confusion from the defense, but the data tells a story of evasion. Missing tests is often more damning than failing them, because probation officers view missed tests as intentional avoidance. And here's the engagement question for viewers. Do you believe these inconsistent results reflect misunderstanding or strategic timing? This moment is a turning point because after this evidence is laid out, the judge's patience begins rapidly diminishing.
Then she misses her test. She then decides to come in on June 12th, which is after, I think, her determination that she's on some other type of schedule, and she's negative. Then from there on out, she hasn't tested.
I had surgery prior to that because I was using a wheelchair, a walker. And I don't know what date that was.
So I'm going to give you a shot. Ms. Atkins, you can start telling me the truth, or you can keep going with these excuses. I'm not going to let you go very long because then I just got to do what I got to do.
Sir, I've been sober. Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sir, I have been sober. I've had some relapses. I have. My testing has been sporadic due to my inabilities for my Um,
It's hard to spit out that you're using.
I don't want to be an addict, sir.
I know, but it's hard to spit out that you're using. That's why you're missing the test.
I've missed.
I didn't just start doing this yesterday.
No, I know you did not judge. You're viral. I know that.
Council approach.
Recording stopped.
Taylor, I mean, I'm literally gonna lose my job in my home. I wouldn't be doing this thing. I'm gonna lose my job, and I just got it July 24th. I'm gonna lose my home, and my 13-year-old has no one to take care of her. I am begging the court. I will go every day. I will do weekend court. I will do whatever, but I can't lose my job, and I don't have anyone to take care of my 13-year-old. Nobody, not one person in this world.
Ms. Atkins, I let you go on, hoping that as you went on, you would start being honest. I then gave you the direct opportunity to just be honest. And none of those did you take.
Your Honor, I have been honest. I would be willing to take a hair follicle
Let me
test,
tell you what,
but I don't want to lose my job that I just
I
worked so
know you
hard.
don't want to lose your job, and I don't want you to lose your life.
I don't want to lose my
Because
life.
what you're doing is you're deciding to test when it is okay for you just to go test. And you're coming back negative.
And Your Honor,
But you're using.
I also have medical records that they would not let me self-cath, and I was having to self-cath for about 4 weeks. And I also tried to, had talked to the probation officer about it. But Your Honor, I will lose everything. My daughter has no one to take care of her, and I don't know what to do about that because I have no family members.
Your-
My test is negative today.
Your Honor, if I can get documentation about her medical issues and match it up with any information from community corrections, would the court be willing to at least?
I will look at anything that you will give me, but I will tell you that I mean, why didn't you go in on the 9th when they told you that they were going to violate you?
I tried to go in. I didn't get off until 4 o'clock. I called him. I'm working in Romulus. I left a message with him. I called at 4:15. They told me I had to be there by 4:30. I left a message on his book and that I would come in that day, Saturday, Monday, and
Why didn't you then go in on the 12th?
on Monday,
Yeah.
because I was at work and
No.
I was at work. I actually
Miss
went in for a drug
Atkins,
test,
here's the
so
reason.
I
you
did
didn't
another
go-
drug test.
Here's
on
the
Monday.
reason you didn't go in on the 12th. You were giving yourself one more day to try to come back clean. That's all you were doing.
I took
That's
the drug
all
test
you've
on
been doing.
Monday.
You know what?
This is one of the sharpest and most revealing lines from Judge Simpson in the entire hearing. After listening to explanation after explanation, new job, medical issues, confusion, surgery dates, transportation problems, he cuts straight through it. He tells her exactly what he believes happened. She timed her tests to avoid detection. Judges don't make accusations lightly. When he says this, it's because the timeline, the missed tests, and the sudden negative results paint a picture that is nearly impossible to interpret any other way. This is also the emotional climax of the case. Casey breaks down, pleading about her daughter, her job, her fear of losing everything. And while her situation is undeniably heartbreaking, the court cannot operate on emotion alone. Judge Simpson isn't being harsh. He's being consistent. Bond comes with conditions, and violating those conditions puts the community and the judicial process at risk. Even when defendants face real struggles, the court must rely on behavior, not intentions. This moment is a classic example of legal reality clashing with human desperation, and it's where many viewers form their own moral judgment. Should her circumstances soften the consequences, or should the violations speak for themselves?
Like I said, I've been doing this a while. Addicts try to overtalk me all the time.
Sorry.
I'll adjourn this matter out to August 22nd, 2024, 9 a.m. or as your invite indicates. At this point, defendant's bond is revoked. Defendant's remanded.
Colonel, will that be a PCC or a PE on the 22nd?
That'd be I can't do it. I'll just go back to PCC.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
This final moment encapsulates everything Judge Simpson had been building toward. After the missed tests, the inconsistent drug results, the shifting explanations, and the emotional pleas, he delivers the only ruling he believes the evidence supports: bond revoked. From a legal perspective, this decision is grounded in public safety, accountability, and the integrity of pretrial supervision. Bond isn't just freedom, it's a contract. When a defendant repeatedly fails to comply, the court must act. But the human side of this case is undeniable. Casey is a single mother. Her daughter depends on her, and losing her job could destabilize everything. This ruling reflects a painful truth. Sometimes the legal system cannot bend, even when the personal consequences are devastating. Overall, this case highlights the importance of consistency in compliance, honesty with the court, and timely communication with probation. Once trust erodes, rebuilding it becomes nearly impossible. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.